The Bitcoin ETF came out and you saw the giant pump. You bought and then you experienced a 20% correction immediately. And you're wondering, where do we go from here? Was it a bad time to buy Bitcoin? Are we going down much lower? Today we'll do some simple technical analysis, see where we're going and see where Bitcoin might go. As usual, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor.
Knowledge.
So it did look like the ETF was a sell the news event and a lot of price was priced in. All the way up to here, you can see this nice wick. But where are we going to go from here after the ETF and what are the next major events for Bitcoin? So let's first just go over some simple support zones I marked on the daily chart. Now we can see we have our first simple support zone around $40,000 to about $38,000. And I think this is our first major area of support, which you can see on our map, and we actually did touch down in here. So I think this has a good chance of being supported on Bitcoin. Then you see in between here, we don't actually have much. And a lot of price direction just had sharp falls and sharp rises throughout all of this. So I think our next major support zone is between 32 and 30. So I think if we break this, there's a chance we go a lot lower, but I think we're gonna have a really hard time breaking the support zone with the current price action of Bitcoin and the interest in the ETF. Don't let these news articles say no one is interested in the BTF. The ETF has had a lot of success so far. And let me pull up this website. You guys can see it's heyapollo.com/Bitcoin ETF. And it has a nice little chart where you can actually see the Bitcoin ETF holdings and see how it has progressed over time. So you can see there is a lot of interest in this chart, guys. Like a lot of people are buying up this Bitcoin. And you can see over 70,000 Bitcoin has already been purchased. And that was 10 days ago. As of the 25th, there has been over 100,000 Bitcoin purchased since the ETF, which is a huge deal. So that is a lot of money. So guys, I really don't think we're going to break the support zone, but there is still always a chance. You never really know what's going to happen. But let's check out some other models for Bitcoin to see where it might be a more accurate representation of where we might go. So this is the BTC Cycles indicator on TradingView. You can find it, and you can see it has done a relatively good job of measuring overvalued zones on previous bull markets and undervalued zones in the bear markets. And you would have been really up handsomely if you bought in this zone from undervalued to cycle lows. And you can see actually on this model, we topped the fair market value, then it came back down. So with this model, there is a large gap you can see between the fair market value and the undervalued zone. And that would be a 40%, and that's a 40% difference from top to bottom. And if we went from the current price down to this major support zone, that'd be about 30%. And you can see it has ridden on it multiple times throughout this cycle so far, and then it was resistance right here. Now, do I think we're going to go down 30%? I don't think so, but that's not really abnormal in Bitcoin, guys. You can see in any bull run, there has been major corrections relatively quickly. We can look at right here from the top of this one. That was 20% very quickly. This guy had a 15% correction in like 2 days. Okay. Let's check right here. Back in 2017, we had a 40% correction right here and then just continued to rip higher. So be in mind, 20 to 30% corrections are normal. Even a 40% correction is normal. Do I expect we're going to have that? I do not, but it is possible. Anything is really possible in this game, guys. But I think if you're buying for the long term for the next year or two, I think you'll be perfectly fine. Not financial advice though. But this is according to the BTC Cycles indicator. We can also look at another popular indicator, the Bitcoin Power Law Corridor by Capriol Investments. And we can see in here, and we can see with this model, it does have a nice purple trend line, which has had a decent amount of fluctuation in prices around it. That'll coincide right about $35,000. So guys, on all of our models, our max drawdown is not that bad. It may hurt in the short term to see a large pullback, especially if you're fully allocated to the ETF, if you fully allocated for your Bitcoin right at the top. But you have to keep in mind the direction we're going. We are most likely going up over the next 2 years. I don't think we're going to hit this upper threshold of $270,000. My more conservative estimate is 100 to 150. I think that's where we're going. That's why I'm buying a lot of Bitcoin right now, and I'm still putting money into the ETF. I didn't fully allocate. My gut said this would be a sell the news event, and so far my gut has been right. But I think I need to fully allocate soon, as I don't know if we'll get a major dip like everyone is predicting. Remember though, 30 to 40% corrections are normal, even in a bull market. It is very common to have a 30 to 40% correction, which you can even see right here, which was a 30% correction last bull run. So it's very normal. So if you can't handle that, if you're wondering if a 30% correction, then you're going to sell at the bottom and you're just going to be buying high then selling low, This game is not for you. Don't invest in Bitcoin. That's just what it is. If you can't handle these corrections on the bull market when we're expected to double our money, even from this point, you're still probably going to double your money within a year to 2 years. This game is not for you. Maybe just stay out of it, which is fine. But if you can buy it, not look at it, hold for 2 years or a year, you're probably going to be good. But keep in mind, guys, institutions are now involved, and the halving has been a typical event which pumps the price of Bitcoin. But now everyone knows that halving is popular, and what typically happens when everyone knows something is going to happen, it's a sell the news event. And I could be wrong, but so far as happened, we had a 20% correction since the ETF, and this also has been because of Grayscale GBTC, but I'm not going to get into that. But who knows what will happen to the halving? Is it another sell the news event and people are buying before the halving, front running it, and then selling at it? I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is I'm still buying and I'm just going to hold for a year. You're going to make a lot more money doing that than worrying about these price fluctuations in between till when it's time to sell, maybe towards the end of the year or the end of next year. I really don't know what's going to happen. The bull markets are a roller coaster, so just buy some, hold on, and then sell while you're near the top or falling down from the top. That's just the time to sell and you can still make a lot of money. You don't have to worry about these fluctuations right here. Just allocate, hold on, and enjoy the ride. And if you're wondering if you're too late to even get into Bitcoin, guys, remember, Google Trends has been a fairly accurate indicator of the top, and look where we are with our Google Trends. The ETF, what happened? Retail came in, and then guess what? They got dumped on. Happens every time. It's a clear indication that no one is still here. Retail left because they got dumped on. They bought at the top and they got dumped on, guys. Okay, so you're still early. Even if we only go back up to 100, we're only 1/4 of the way there since our ranking is at 24 on this Google Trends chart. So if you're wondering if you're still early, you're very early. We still got plenty of time before this thing really rips, but I don't know how long we're to consolidate, go down, go up. No one really knows. And if they think they know, they're lying to you. So my recommendation is, not financial advice, if you want to allocate, maybe just spread it out over the next couple of weeks and just DCA your way in. Who knows if it drops, who knows if it doesn't. No one knows what's going to happen, but then you're allocated at least under fair market value according to this model, and you'll be on your way to overvalued at some point, hopefully within this year. You can always just use a simple indicator, guys, to time your buy-in as well. It does have to be 100%. I just have an MACD heat map on here, and you can see if you buy each green zone, it's been fairly accurate of when you should buy, and it's currently in the red. So if you're like, I don't know when to buy, maybe just put on a simple indicator, simple trend following indicator, and just wait for it to flip green, then dump your money. Not financial advice, guys, but you don't need to overcomplicate it. You can see if you bought here with the simple green and just held till it flipped red, you'd have been way in the money. Even if you sold here and you completely missed the dump holding on, that's still a huge gain, guys. Like, you still made 200%. That's great, okay? So you don't have to time this perfectly if it's going to run up so much. So don't worry about the downside. I'm not worrying about it. Even if it comes down to 29, 28,000, I'm not going to freak out. I'm still going to hold on. We're in a range and we still have our support zones. And I'm expecting this thing to go way up towards the end of the year. So overall, guys, enjoy the ride. But if you want to do something a little different with crypto, check out the Bitsgap Trading Bots I use right here. Peace.